Hey there, I'm Keertan here, back again here with India in Making podcast. Today here with a different series for the HR called as Silent Heroes. Today I'm here at Ness Digital Engineering Company with the HR Miss Dr. Christina. So welcome you to the show, ma'am.
Very much. Thank you for having me here. That's something very special for me to be here this morning.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So Chris, can you actually tell me about your journey and your story of you being here as a part of this company?
Okay, my journey I hold as an HR leader close to 20 years.
Okay.
Being a HR leader all across the years. My journey began, if I can say, from the portfolio of psychology because I started beginning my interest or understanding human behavior was my first point to start with, at least the success. And then I'm a person I want to go deeper into that, understanding human behavior. So thereby, as a student, young student, I could get my accomplishment as a doctorate in psychology, and that was a specialization in organizational behavior. Now, having said that, that becomes a combination or a USP in the market because not many talent who have a combination of psychology and HR overlapping on it. So I was headhunted.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
And I can add value. My stint across the professional journey has been from telecom and technology and even as retail as well. So I have this overall span of life, also being a meritorious UGC scholar because the industry recognized me and then they gave me an opportunity to grow, not just in being part of the industry but part of the research as well. And I did my doctorate. Above all, I think over year on year, I've been recognized in all marketplaces, not just in India, overall overseas like APAC and US and other locations where I see where you have been one of the top 25 HR leaders in the country.
Wow.
So that gives me a standpoint to know who I am, what's my journey, and what are my visions which I want to do in this portfolio.
Fantastic. So with respect to this as a role, so what motivated you? Because this is a role particularly with people, working with people, right? Recruiting them, managing people, developing them, and making sure that they are happy in the organization.
Very much.
What makes you motivated to be in this particular role?
As I just inferred, way up in student life, understanding human behavior. So behavior means understanding what's going on in your mind, what makes you think what you think, what you're perceiving, and how are you making your decisions. So what are the things that influences your behavior? I've been always curious on that. So I've been studying so detailed on that and I've been practicing psychologist myself. So I've been in consulting space for quite a while. So the motivation is understanding human behavior. But what happens in the corporate, I can say, where the concept of HR is human resource. It's not being a resource to the business, but you see, understand the resource not just as a resource, but understand the resource which carries a basket of behaviors. It's like the knowledge, the skills, the attitudes they carry is awesome. It's very big. And if you don't understand that, you cannot treat human resource or you cannot do talent management. So I think that's a motivation. Every time I do work with my business or I work with my customers, for me it's the behavior I see behind the people or the resource.
Okay, fantastic. So what are the common challenges you face in this particular role?
The common challenges, if you see at least in our industry, which is very well, the challenge is very big time is our turnaround time is becoming shorter and shorter. If you can see, the go-to-market is very quick, right? This is one side of the storyboard, but the other side of the storyboard, I have the skills availability. My skills availability is very, very slim in the market. Now, I'm not just talking about the vanilla skills, but the skills, the niche skills which I'm looking at. Now, my customer and my business wants it here and now, then I look at into the space where we can source this. It's very, very, you can't really hunt for it.
True.
And some of the skills are not in one location, or it's very location specific, or it could be something completely on a nascent level, but the industry wants on a very high proficiency. Otherwise, we cannot go in with digital being around. As you rightly said, we are a digital engineering company, and we cater to digital products. So that's one of the biggest challenge I see vis-a-vis where we want and where we are finding in the marketplace.
Okay, so the kind of things you said about turnaround time or the development period for you to actually develop an individual from one level to another level is actually taking more time in taking things forward. So just I wanted to understand, so with respect to, because directly when you get freshers on board, okay, so there are certain common behaviors what they actually portray. So what are the things you face as a thing, so that we want to understand? So because the culture is actually shifting when it comes to the freshers and things like that. How's it?
To our model is more just-in-time hiring, and of course it's more of lateral hiring. But we do invest on say freshers coming on board with us on certain cases where we want some professionals to pipe in that kind of thing. We are graduate engineers coming on board. Now, some of the things which I see as one is, especially on the functional skills, they may have a technical skill knowledge from wherever they have done their certification from, but on the hands-on, putting them into the deploying in the business ecosystem, that's where they have, because it's all about textbook and curriculum. But when they come back here, it's I'm on the assembly line, I have to do that. So that's one thing I find, because our customer wants it immediate right and now, and you want them to plug and play. But that incubation period is one thing. Second, I see also the market maturity. People want maturity, or the industry wants maturity or learning curve to happen very early. But then it's not true. So out of the, say you have 30% or 40% of people on the learning curve very high, but not really otherwise. So that has to be addressed as well.
So what are the various initiatives taken forward as a unique initiative you see it as with your thing here?
One of the things we are doing, because it's a very competitive market, at least the Indian market we are talking about. Because any you're talking about any new hire has an opportunity otherwise in this technology space. They may have multiple offers running on, but if you want to see, we want to engage with them even otherwise. One of our differentiator is our pre-hire engagement. What do I mean by pre-hire engagement? Let me clarify that for you. Right from the time you will get the offer, I ensure that I keep connecting with you. We have multiple nodal entries how we connect with you, and ensure that we are engaged with you, right? So I know you are for me and I am for you, and we're not let you go, that kind of stuff. So one of the things what we do is we even create a timeout when they come to our facility. They spend time with my leadership team here, and then we have say a meal or a breakfast together, and ensure that kind of we tell them who we are, we share the culture we are, and what kind of ecosystem they will be giving in. So that gives them an idea to know what it is before they can be here in a day's time or a month's time. You get? So they get a slip of the entire place or vision which they dream of happening before. So that makes it as a kind of a USP for us, and we crack it on. Second thing, if I want to tell you, we are a firm believer in growing leaders from within. We have very tenured employees who stay long with us, right? Now, one of the things when I say we grow people, what do I mean? We just don't just go keep on buying out people. We just see, you're part of us, how can I not just give you a job, I can give you a career. Now, if I say there's a lot of difference between having a job and a career, and people want to have a job mindset, they wouldn't be with us. We are very clear, we want to give them the career mindset. So what we do is we open the window of the career map. You join as a graduate engineer, but how else you can pedal on your ladder of, say you want to be a business analyst, or you want to be an architect sometime, or you want to get into project management. We give them an opportunity to see how it's like a banyan tree opening out, and we see what are the branches you can get into. And that makes them to be excited in the journey year on year. I think that's something very, very special or a differentiator we do for a talent which is very dynamic in nature, very competitive, right?
Got it. That's fantastic. So with this as a particular thing in your company, so how do you train and what's unique about that here? Because every company has its own culture and aligning of the mission, aligning of the value system with the individual as well as the company. So how do you do that here?
As I said, we ensure that we want to be our learnings or the training is very nimble and very digital in nature. So we don't believe in just classroom sessions. We ensure that you can do your learning anytime, anywhere.
At your own pace.
Yeah, at your own place. So when you say 70, 20, 10, if I say that, we believe that 70% of your self-learning is happening and we provide. We've signed up with some of the very global learning sites and so they get to see those learning courses on emerging technologies, say big data, cloud, or name it, anything. They get it on their hands and they can just get to visit it and read on their own. And that makes them professional, and then that gives them in-house certification and gives them a ownership on their learning rather than an organization pushing them for learning. So we create the culture, more learning culture, and make him a learner himself so that the learning curve goes up and up year on year. That's what we do.
Yeah. So now you actually talked about skill and knowledge as a perspective, which is above waterline. So if we go below waterline, saying that about his motive, self-image and trait. So what are all the initiatives taken there in order to?
Yeah, that's very, very, as you said, self-image, motive and trait. That's how you're talking to a psychologist. Self-image and motive and trait is very important because that's what the millennial wants. What's in it for me? What's my identity? If I talk to you, if I be with you, if I join you, what is that for me? Self-identity, we call it the self-esteem. And then your trait, whether you want to say, today people want to be visible and people want to be notified, not just one-on-one, on a social mode, because that's the leadership we are getting into. So having said that, we have a very robust reward and recognition framework in place. We say how we recognize a Nessian is very, very clear. He knows that he need not wait for one annual award to take place. We have on the just-in-time, as we have just-in-time hiring, we have a just-in-time recognizing people. If I see you are doing great, we don't hesitate to make big about it. It may be small, not just a team meeting. I'm saying making it social. Even on their social pages, we just make them loud and big so that they feel a larger identity to the organization they're part of. And it's not just monetary. Let me be very clear. It's not just monetary. We ensure that you have frill of benefits where it is identified with one's persona. So I go into your trace, your preferences, what suits you. What suits you may not suit me. What strikes you, what trickles the endorphins in you may not be the same for me. So if I can identify that, we have a very robust framework and we ensure that we are doing it, whether it is quarterly or you're doing it on the spot or creating that kind of UX or the user experience. The experience is the biggest factor we do here.
That's really amazing, because most of the time it says that 70% of the people who leave the company is also because of the lack of recognition or appreciation for them. So it's a fantastic thing what you're already doing in the company. So when it comes to education as an entity, so what's your perspective with the current education system? Because you get to deal with a lot of people and those people are directly coming from the education system. So how do you deal with them?
This is a very exciting question for me because I am part of various boards across India and abroad. Where I'm part of their board, one of the ways which I have charted out and I keep recommending and reiterating, so the conglomeration or the collaboration between academia and industry is to, the marriage takes place. So if I see, one of the things I see is where we part of the curriculum. Number one is the curriculum. Most of the times I think industry can play a very big value addition in the curriculum. So you should, the academia, ensure that you have people who can review that. So I'm currently part of boards where I review their curriculums, and I tell them, hello, your module is, you need 3 more modules on this. Maybe you need to revamp this module, right? So then we do an editorial around it, and then we kind of publish it year on year and make it, the space or the gap comes slimmer and slimmer. Number 2, what we do is industry engagement. Now, I'm a firm believer in this. When you say engagement, I don't wait back and say, okay, let industry come and visit. Oh, okay, let us go and visit college. This is what's happening. It's a kind of, I feel it's more a laggard approach. A laggard approach, what do I mean is, it's very reactive. Okay, second year, my boys are in second year, therefore I have to go for placement, and then I think of industries. I have calls, people coming in and calling me, ma'am, please tell us how to do, or doctor, tell us how to do. But the point is, this is neutral. I'm not talking about academia alone. I want to ensure the gap, because being a professional and an expert in this, I believe that we should ensure the gap happens together. So what engagement takes place, for example, I need to find out how else, if you want to engage, are you going to engage, is in your institute or in your academia, do you want the industry to engage just in your curriculum? Are they going to be part of your entire student life? Is it going to be part of the skill development? Is it part of their functional expertise? So there are various areas like these which we trickle out with the academia. Now this is one side of the story. Now the other side of the story for the industry, I'm putting it the other way because it will help people, I think. The industry, perhaps I have to think, if I'm going to hire vanilla skills, or say part of my hiring, if I have a proportion for is it going to be just Java and .NET or something? But are we going to talk about emerging skills? But then I'm going to proactively ensure how I can come to the marketplace, because I know certain geographies, certain skills are plenty, certain pockets is not there. How can we create a community there? How can we create an academia platform? It could be a forum, or it could be out of the way where the industry goes and say, we are doing it. And that's the Harvard approach or the Stanford approach. Right?
Fantastic.
I hope gave
definitely.
you enough.
So that's where a lot of being value added there. So here, if industry is given an opportunity, saying that you can actually hire your team from the first year, and from there you nurture the team of your own. So what your perspective? Because this is an idea which just we ask for industry, just to know about your response and how open you are for that approach.
See, one thing, as I said, I work with a number of companies, and one thing I see is when there's such an opportunity comes, industry does an assessment on the institute. Are they really for it? The gravity and the preference for this, because this is like an intensive program. We are going skin after skin below.
True.
And we're signing on saying we're going to enhance, say, 50 odd people or 500 people in the next 2 years. So those kind of things, what we do is we see the curriculum, we work on a timeline, we see what kind of certifications which can go between the academia and the industry together, and create a visibility where he knows, okay, he at the end of the 2 to 3 years, he just have a internship exercise or an externship exercise. We call it the 2 module where they kind of do it, and then we see how we can ramp them up further on if they're committed and if they are wanting it to proceed on the learning curve. So these are things which we work on, level 1, level 2, level 3, with the management of the academia, and the academia works out with the leadership team. So everything that's happening, for example, I may have an in-house launch of a product, a digital product. I give invitations to all of them. Hey, why don't you come in? And they get a window to see even before they are here. So that kind of engagement, it could be any kind of business initiative we cannot do together. Those kind of things are charted out along. But it depends on what skill you want to do. Do I want to say a PEGA, I want to say an emerging skill, or you want to take for a cloud initiative, cloud technology, or what exactly are we going to sign up for?
Mm-hmm.
So that gives a clear window, because business needs tangible outcomes.
True.
At the same time, academia needs a number where they know, if I get into this, how many will be? That's their question, right?
True.
So there's all numbers here,
True.
and I think those numbers have to be spoken frankly and openly, and then we get those documented and then work around it. I think that gives you a very substantial way. This is like, it's not just stopping with center of excellence being parked inside the campus. I have seen many institutes, they say, oh, we have a center of excellence. Okay, then how many have you closed on it? Because that's more important.
True.
Yeah.
True. So now we actually talked about many more aspects about engineering, students, education, and how you build the teams and things like that. So now can you just give me a brief about your company and how you serve people out there?
As I briefed you, we are a digital product engineering company, and what does it mean to us? We ensure how we give these digital products for our customers, accelerate their business, and ensure that we can transform their digital journeys, give those digital applications and their products. Let me just explain to you one. If you have a product of digital, it could be in the space of education, it could be in the space of banking, or it could be in the space of health. But from an education aspect, how can we convert most of your education into more digital in products? What exactly I mean by that is our learning space has been transformed over the period of time. I think it's no more, it has become more smarter these days, right? But there are areas where customers still nimble on having more legacy systems and legacy approaches. What Ness does is how we can fulfill their digital completely. What I mean by that, how you can provide your learning online, how you can get your products on real time, and if it could be teaching or coaching or assessments or applications where I can do a teacher assessment or student assessment on real time, and how it can be made more social, and how it can be made on a cloud, and how it can be still be made for all, and thereby your cost really comes down, right? And that's the next leap of journey on the education space. And likewise in health or in banking or in telecommunication, there are a lot of areas where we add value to. So that's our space, and one of the ways we want to ensure that is giving the digital products so that each of our customers, like their digital journeys successful. And we've seen it very well.
Fantastic. So that's a great about company. So thank you so much for joining again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.